the full Guangxan, Malaysia, and Venerable Huizing for bringing this Abidhamma book. So I think today all of you have a copy of this book today. So we can use this book as the manual of our teaching. So yesterday we gave introduction to the Abhidama. So when you get this book, you can go through the preface and the introduction. So in the introduction on page 10, you will see about the truth, the realities there. So we talked yesterday about the conventional truth and the apparent realities. And the other one is the ultimate realities. So you can read a little more in detail here. And it is quite very interesting that the Buddha said what we actually experience in our life is the conventional truth. So it is just like an illusion. So it is the world of illusion. And we have that illusion because of the avidya. Avidya is the moha. The moha is also called avidya. Because of that we have that illusion, the Buddha said. We didn't see the truth. So what really exists are the ultimate realities. So yesterday we said there are 4 types of ultimate realities that really exist in nature and that can stand the test and investigation in any way. So those 4 ultimate realities are given on page 15. So they are the Citta, the Cetasika, Rupa, and Nibbana. So Citta is just consciousness of the senses. All living beings, we are aware of the senses. So that awareness of the senses is called Citta. So that means Citta really exists in us. And when you come to insight meditation, you can actually see that Citta arising in you, arising and dissolving in you. We cannot see with our naked eye. You need very powerful eye to see it. And that powerful eye is actually the samadhi eye. The samadhi means concentration. So when you can raise or develop the right concentration, you can see that Citta and also the Cetasika. The Cetasika, they depend on the Citta for their arising. They arise and dissolve with the Cittas. And we should know that the Citta is not one. The Citta is not one. It is not like you say an ego or a soul that always remained unchanged in you. It's not like that. So these Citta and Cetasikas, they arise and dissolve very, very rapidly. So in the order of 1 trillion in one wink. In one wink. So very, very rapid. So we can have various types of Cittas and the Cetasikas arising in us. They may change all the time. And that will explain why our mind or our attitude is being changed all the time. Now you're good-tempered, you're smiling, but very soon when you see something bad, you get angry. You know that the mind can change very quickly. But we do not know the reason why that change, that mind. If the mind is just one, there's no reason for it to change. Or they may say, oh, it's just like a princess who change her costume very often. So some people would say like that. Oh, it is just because it changed the costume. So you get different types of consciousness. So it's not that. So there are the reason for the changes. And the Citta can combine with Cetasikas in various combinations. Now because of that various combinations, we have different kinds of Cittas. will arise in us. So these Chitta and Cetasikas, they represent the mind. What we say, it is the mind. So that mind in Buddhism, it is an ultimate reality. So since both Chitta and Cetasika can be aware of the senses, they are always bent towards the senses in order to be aware of the senses. Now because of that, Chitta and Cetasika collectively are called Nama. Nama. So you should be aware of that word, Nama. So that Nama will be equivalent to the mind we are using. So it's a Nama is not material entity. No, it is, you may say, spiritual entity. It is a spiritual entity, not material entity. So you take the mind as a brain. The brain is a material entity. So you identify the mind with matter. So the mind is not different from matter. It is not different from matter. We can see various properties, very, very like the psychic powers. Now you can develop the psychic powers with which you can fly in the air. You can dive into the earth. You can create many things. So those psychic powers will not be able to be explained in terms of the brain theory. So we should accept that this mind, Chitta and Cetasika, they are the definite entities different from matter. And the Buddha's concept of Rupa, the third ultimate reality is called Rupa, and that Rupa embraces the idea of matter and energy known in science. So according to Buddha's philosophy, we would say science knows only about Rupa, that is matter and energy. So if you take if you believe just in science, so you become a materialist. So just matter is important. So it is not that. So a person can be analyzed into Chitta, Cetasika and Rupa. If you take Chitta and Cetasika as a Nama, so we say a person is made up of only Nama and Rupa. So if a person is made up of Nama and Rupa, all the other persons will also be made up of Nama and Rupa. And about the inanimate materials, they will have only matter. Just like, say, the iron, the wood, the tree, they are just Rupa. They are just matter. They don't have Nama. Only living beings, they are a combination of Nama and Rupa. So according to the Buddha's philosophy, in the whole universe, what really exists is only these two, Nama and Rupa. And since Nama is aware of the senses, and Rupa is not aware of the senses, so which will be the leader and which will be the follower? What would you say? So, the Nama, the mind, should be the leader, and the matter would be the follower. Rupa is the follower. And in the Buddha's philosophy again, these Nama and Rupa, they walk hand in hand. This Chitta, Cetasika, they depend on Rupa for their arising. They have to cling to the sense object, and they have to depend on the material support for their arising. So without Rupa, the Chitta cannot arise. So they go together. We used to give the istimai. We say since the mind can be aware of the senses, it's similar to a man with good eyes, but without legs. Without legs, it cannot walk, it cannot move. The mind cannot move. And the Rupa, it is not aware of the senses, so it's like a blind man with good legs. It could walk. So a blind man and a lame, the man without no, no, without legs. They met together, say, no, outside a village. So there's an announcement on loudspeaker. Food is being served inside the village. So people can come and take the food here. So these two persons, they would like to come and get the food. So people can come and take the food here. So these two persons, they would like to come and get the food. How can they come? The blind man cannot come alone. The same thing that lame man without legs cannot come alone. But if that the man with good eyes but without legs, he sit on the shoulders of the man, the blind man. So he directs and the blind man walks, they can come. They can go anywhere. So mind and matter, they walk in such a way. So we say mind is important, but you cannot neglect the rupa. Rupa is still important. Still important. Okay. So Nibbana. Nibbana is, we call the supramundane, ultimate reality. It has nothing, it is not associated with nama and rupa. Remember, both nama and rupa, they arise and dissolve very rapidly. Both of them, according to the Buddha's philosophy, they arise and dissolve very often. And science also know that the matter, they arise and dissolve very rapidly. Both of them, according to the Buddha's philosophy, they arise and dissolve very often. And science also know that the matter and energy are not permanent. We are made up of cells, according to science. So we know these cells, they are dying all the time. You have to replenish. You have to produce new cells to replace the old ones. So science also know, like your blood cells, they are changing all the time. So science also know they are not permanent. So when you know this citta and rupa arising and dissolving very rapidly, then that idea becomes very clear to you. The idea of anicca, impermanence. Everything is impermanence, just arising and dissolving and changing all the time. Science knows that. And Buddha actually, he expounds this discovery 2,600 years ago. Much, much earlier than science. It's a wonderful thing. So if they are not permanent, since they are arising and dissolving, and what is not permanent, would you say it is sukha? Sukha is blessed. Or would you call it, the unsatisfactoriness? What is not permanent would not be satisfactory. So that not satisfactory character, or sometimes we also translate it as suffering, is called the dukkha. So if you know you are made up of nama and rupa, and it's this nama and rupa and arising, dissolving very rapidly, so it amounts to that you are being tortured by the dissolution of this nama and rupa that you take as yourself. Yourself is dissolving all the time. So you will be happy to see that yourself is dissolving. So that amounts to suffering, we say. So you get dukkha, anicca, and same thing you can get anatta. Anatta, not self, the Buddha said. Because both nama and rupa are changing very rapidly. Which combination of nama rupa would you call to be Dr. Mon? As you are looking at me now, my nama and rupa is changing very rapidly. So if you find your point, this is Dr. Mon, that nama rupa would not exist during that time. It is gone. So nothing is permanent. No substance, no substantial entity that remains unchanged, that you can call an ego or a soul. There's no such thing, the Buddha said. So If you can find that idea, you can see there's anatta. No? So you get that three characteristics that is common to all nama and rupa. They have these three characteristics. So Nibbana, if Nibbana is associated with nama and rupa, then we would say nama rupa has this suffering character in that, since it contains nama rupa. So this nama rupa, the Buddha said, it is suffering in the dukkha satya, the noble truth of suffering. So all this nama rupa is taken to be the noble truth of suffering in the first, the Ariya Satya. So if Nibbana is eternal, it is blissful all the time, it must be separated from nama and rupa. You can see that. So because of that, we say Nibbana is beyond this world of nama rupa, beyond this world of nama rupa. So all the 31 planes, according to the Buddhist chronology, we have 31 planes of existence. So that constitute the universe, or you can call them the infinite number of the universes actually present. So all in these universes, you have only nama and rupa. But Nibbana is apart from them. They must not be the same as nama rupa. So we say Nibbana is different from nama rupa. So it is a fourth reality. So we have the four types of reality. So you can see it is more complete than the view of science. According to science, you have only rupa. Now we have chitta, cetasika, rupa and Nibbana. So we have much more than science. Okay. So we go to chapter 1. After that, chapter 1 is on page 90. So of those four paramattha, the ultimate realities are known as paramattha. Parama means ultimate. Atta means the thing. So the ultimate thing. The ultimate thing means when you analyze any living being or non-living being, you keep on analyzing it. So if you come to the final analysis, you cannot analyze anymore. So that final the analyzed thing is called the paramattha. Actually it is the paramattha. So of this paramattha, the citta, the citta is very important, because we know citta is very, very powerful. Actually, citta controls all our actions, all our thoughts. So we cannot move without citta. Without the instruction of the citta, you cannot move. This rupa cannot move by itself. It cannot move by itself. So the science would say, oh, you need the muscle. Or the muscle moves you up. But the Buddha said, that muscle is rupa, so it has to be directed by the mind. So the mind is behind all this movement. And because of that, the mind rules the world. The mind rules the world. So, like we say, science today is very, very powerful. And you should remember that science is produced by the mind. So you can see the mind is the all-powerful, the most powerful thing. So we consider studying the cittas first. So on page 90, we give you the four classes of cittas. Again, I explained to you yesterday. When you say citta is that which is aware of the senses, or which is the process of cognizing. Cognizing means understanding, or the process of knowing the sense object. So in that case, citta is just one kind. Just one kind. So the citta, wherever it is present, in a small insect or in a human being, so its function is just to be aware of the senses. It is that is aware of the senses. That's the citta. But that citta, when it combines with the cetasikas, you can have various combinations of cittas. Then we say, we classify four kinds according to planes of existence. No, Bhumi. Bhumi is called the plane of existence, or the realm. No, you can call the realm, the human realm, no, the Peta realm, the plane, the sphere, they amount to the same thing. No, they refer to this physical aspect of the universe. So, no, we belong to the sense sphere, we say. No, we belong to the sense sphere. So the sense sphere is called Kamaloka. No, Kamaloka. So those states that arise, no, mostly in this Kama plane, the sense sphere, are known as Kama Vajra Chitta. Kama Vajra. Kama refers to the sense plane, the sense sphere, and Avachara means mostly experience. Mostly experience. No? That is, these states, they arise mostly in the Kama sphere. And they amount to altogether 54 states that can be divided into 3 classes. We say Akusala Chaita, Ahetuka Chaita, and Kama Sobana Chaita. So those are again given on page 20. In the middle of the page there, we have 54 Kama Vajra Chaitas, and they are subdivided into 3 classes. One is Akusala Chaitas. No? Akusala means immoral or unwholesome consciousness. Ahetuka means the rootless. Well, we'll explain to you later on. Now you just remember, note it. Ahetuka means rootless consciousness. And Kama Sobana, no, means beautiful consciousness in the sense sphere. Sobana means beautiful. So we can have 24 types of beautiful consciousness. But the 12 ugly types of consciousness we call the unwholesome consciousness. So we take that Akusala Chitta as our next topic. No? So at the bottom of page 20 you have the Akusala Chaitas. So here we say Akusala means immoral or unwholesome. People usually commit wicked and evil deeds with Akusala Chaitas. So Akusala Chaitas, they will bear bad result. So in Pali, when we say Akusala, no, Akusala means it is faulty. No, it is fault and is blameworthy because of that. So you might say, what do you mean it is faulty or blameworthy? Because it causes harm to someone. No, this cheater, no, by this cheater you may not talk or you may act, but in your action and in your speech you may commit some harm, inflict some harm to someone. Because of that we say it is faulty or it is blameworthy, and because of that it will bear bad result. And they are responsible, this unwholesome cheater, for all the wicked things in the whole universe. All the people, they become wicked because of these cheaters, because of these cheaters. So, of these 12, again, we divide them into 3 subgroups again. So you can see from this chart here, of the 12 Akusala Chaitas, we divide them into 8 Lopa Mula Chaitas, 2 Dosa Mula Chaitas, and 2 Moha Mula Chaitas. Again, we concentrate on the first group. Just concentrate on the first group. So it is given on page 21. It's called Lopa Mula Chaitas. Now the 8 Chaitas rooted in Lopa, greed, are given the following symbols in order to remember their names easily. So Lopa is taken as a root. So we say Lopa is an unwholesome root. because it gives rise to unwholesome chittas and cetasika. Because it gives rise to unwholesome chitta, we say it is an unwholesome root. Unwholesome root. Mula means root. Lopa, we say it is greed. Greed, and it has various meanings, and very common meaning is craving or desire. If you have desire, say for coffee, for a good food, so we say you have lopa, for that good food. You crave for that good food, so that desire or that craving for the sense object, is called greed. So whenever you have that lopa, you have greed or craving for the sense object, then lopa mula chittas will arise in you. Lopa mula chittas will arise in you during that time. Now, that lopa mula chittas is again divided into 8 kinds, because when the Buddha speak about karma, the karma in its result. So these 8 kinds of lopa mula chitta, they will produce 8 kinds of karma. And these karmas will again condition the arising of the beautiful states. And so again they differ according to these 8 types. So he enumerated these 8 types. So we give the symbol here, 4 plus sign and 4 negative sign. If you see the plus sign, you read it, so manasa sahagatam. So we say this plus sign, it stands for so manasa sahagatam. So what is so manasa sahagatam? So the meaning is given on page 22. So manasa actually means mentally pleasant feeling or joyful. When you get that mentally pleasant feeling, you feel joyful. So when you say you are having that lopa mula chitta, like you are enjoying good food, like when you are enjoying good food, you are happy, you are glad to get that. So you are glad or you are joyful because you have that pleasant mental feeling while you are taking that. So the Buddha said your chitta is accompanied by this pleasant mental feeling or with joy. It is accompanied by joy. So we call it somanasa sahagatam. Sahagatam means together with or accompanied by. So these Pali words, they are just a few, it won't be much. So don't let these Pali words bother you. Don't be afraid of the Pali words. Since they are the names of these chittas, it's better we know them. We know them. So if you know these Pali words, so when you read the manuals of the Buddha, the Buddhist canons, then you can understand. And when the priest gave the sermon, when they use the Pali word, they would use the Pali word, then you can understand. So that makes the meaning more precise by using the Pali words. So I would like to ask you to tolerate and to get familiar with these Pali words. Not many of them. You get familiar very, very quickly, but on condition you reread it. If you don't read it during the daytime, so you will not be familiar with them. So I also try to ask you to read what we teach tonight. So tomorrow, before we begin the next session, you better go over that. So if you have any difficulty to understand, then you can discuss with one another. And even then, if you don't get the satisfactory result, you can ask me. I will come a little earlier every day, and I will go back later than other people. So you can ask me. You can ask me. And still, that would be nice if we can allow you to ask questions. But I found it when I allow people to ask questions and trying to answer these things, I cannot go very quickly. And most of the questions, you need not ask actually when you understand them very well. But now since you don't understand many things, you like to ask this and that. But when you understand them, you don't need to ask anymore. So I think if you still feel to ask something, just write it on a slip of paper, give it to me. So I will answer it whenever it's convenient. Whenever I talk something connected with that, then I will give you the answer for that. So feel free, feel free to ask questions. To ask questions. No, this is very good. So the positive sign, we read Somanasa Sahagatam. So it's quite all right now. And about the negative sign, you say Upikha Sahagatam. Now Upikha is a neutral feeling. So sometimes when we enjoy the food, but the food is not very appealing, not very tasty, though you like it, you don't get joy while you are eating it. So though while you are eating, you are enjoying, you are having lobha, mula, chitta, but without joy, without joy. So at that time, the Buddha said, no, your lobha, mula, chitta is accompanied by neutral feeling, or neutral or indifferent feeling. So it is between the pleasant feeling and the painful feeling. So you get the neutral feeling. No? So at present, you don't feel whether it is pleasant or painful. So at present, actually, you are having the neutral feeling. So if you have with that feeling, no, we say Upikha Sahagatam. And then the next word, no, and we have here the Deiti Sam. Deiti Sam. So it is the abbreviation of Deitikata Sambayutam. So again, if you look at the meaning, Deiti, there you can see on page 22, we say it is the wrong view. So, the wrong view. The basic one is to be ignorant of karma and its result. So, since people, they don't understand about karma and its result, so they don't pay any attention to about this karma, no? So they don't care for it. So during that time, when you are having lobha, mula, chitta, or you may be listening to the song, you may be watching a movie. So at that time, you don't care what type of chitta you are having, or you don't reason, oh, I'm having the akusala chitta. It is immoral, so it will bring bad karma and bad result to me. So you don't consider like that. So during that time, we say you neglect karma and its result. So at that time you are having the wrong view. So your chitta is accompanied by the wrong view. But if you can reason, oh, I am having the unwholesome chitta that will bear the bad result, then we say you are having the right view during that time. So at that time your mind is not associated with the wrong view, we say. So there will be two types of lobha, mula, chitta. Depending, they are associating with somanasa, pleasant feeling, or upekha, neutral feeling. Again, in each two types, you have again the two subgroups again. Those which associate with deity, those which do not associate with deity. Now, of the two kinds, which associate with deity and not associate with deity, which would be more highness? Which would be more highness? So, for the which do not associate with deity, you have only two defilements associated with the chitta. Lobha is one, and moha is always present. Moha, the illusion, is always present. Because of moha, we think these things to be pleasant. Oh, this food is tasty. Oh, it is chicken, So this is the ice cream. So you have this illusion because of moha. Because of that moha, you cling to it, you desire for it. So whenever we have the akusala chitta, moha is always present. And now you also have lobha, as root. So you have the two evil roots there. So when you have ditthi is also associated, you get three immoral one. So it becomes weighty. So in the bad result, it will be more weighty. So it is the Ditikata Vipayutta. You may be enjoying the movie, but if you are enjoying, you can enjoy with Ditikata Vipayuttam Lopamula Chitta. So it is less weighty. So it will bear less bad result. So now that's why the Buddha again differentiate into two types. Again, in each group, you can again differentiate whether it is asankharika or sasankharika. So again, the meaning is given on page 22 there. Asankharikam or asankharika in Pali, it means the same thing. So it is spontaneous or unprompted or automatic. So it is actually, it shows the state of volitionally active state. The volition is very important. So that volition is very active during this time. So, you might hear, they are going to have a stage show. I go to see. So you are very active, very energetic. So we say you are asankharika chitta. You are going to see the show with asankharika chitta. But if you don't feel very energetic, you are reluctant to go there. Now because your friend takes you along, come along, it will be a very good show, you come with me. So you go because of that. So you say your chitta is not volitionally active. So in that case, you are going with sasankharika lopamula chitta. So again, asankharika would be weighty, because that volition is very active, is strong, is forceful. So when it bears result, it will bear the very heavy result. So if it is sasankharika again, it will be reluctant, so the less weighty, and the bad result is also less, it becomes less. Now, we can read the 8 Lopamula Chittas. So they are given, the names are given on page 21, at the lower part of the sheet there. So let's read one more time. So manasa saha katam diti kata sampayutam asankharikam ekam sa sankharikam ekam. So that covers the 2. And the next 2. So manasa saha katam diti kata vipayutam sa sankharikam ekam and sa sankharikam ekam. For the next 4, you just change so manasa into upika. So we continued reading. Upika sahakatam dijikata sambayutam asankharikam ekam sa sankharikam ekam. Upika sahakatam dijikata vipayutam asankharikam ekam and sa sankharikam ekam. So the meanings are given at the lower part of page 22 there. Now the 8 Lopamula Chittas may now be translated as follows. Number 1, one consciousness. Now ekam refers to one consciousness, unprompted, that is asankharikam, accompanied by joy, somanasa sagatam, and connected with the wrong view, dechikata sambayutam. So the next name, number 2, instead of unprompted, you just change to prompted. So when you get to number 3, you just say, instead of the connected with wrong view, you just say disconnected with wrong view, 3 and 4. When you go to the next 4, instead of accompanied by joy, you change it accompanied by indifference, that is indifferent feeling or indifference in your attitude. So you can get the meanings easily. Now the applications are given on page 23, so you can go by yourself. Now if I ask you, now if you are watching a movie, you are watching a movie, you enjoy the movie, so during that time, as usual, you pay no attention to the karma, So what would be the chitta arising in you at that time? Very good, very good. No, so during that time, since you are enjoying the senses, you will be having lopa mula chitta. Sin is accompanied by joy. You are happy during that time. You say somanasa sahagatam. So during that time you pay no attention to the karma. So daichikata sambayutam. So it is spontaneous, because you don't have to prompt yourself or other people try to persuade you to watch it, to enjoy it. You enjoy it by yourself. So we say asankharika. So the name of the chitta can be given like this. Somanasa sahagatam, daichikata sambayutam, asankharika lopa mula chitta. We would say like that. So if you watch without interest or without much interest, without joy, so it becomes upekha sahagatam, daichikata sambayutam, asankharika lopa mula chitta. Right? So if you enjoy it because other people are persuading you, oh, it is quite good, oh, you see, oh, this is quite good, so you start enjoying it, so it becomes sasankharika chitta. Now I think we can go to the next chittas. On page 25 we have dosa mula chittas. So dosa is anger or hatred, mula is again the root. So these chittas have dosa as their root, as their root. So you look at the symbol there. We give you this star symbol this time. So we call it Domanasa. So it's very similar to Somanasa. Instead of so, you just change it into do, Domanasa. So when Somanasa, it is pleasant mental feeling. When you come to Domanasa, it becomes mentally painful feeling. So you get the meaning below there. Or you can also say, because you have the painful feeling, you don't like it, you are not pleased. So we say, you can also say displeasure, displeasure. And the patiga sambayutam, the symbols above the symbol is the patiga sambayutam. So patiga refers, it means the same thing as dosa, hatred or evil. And sambayutam, you already know it, to be associated with. So whenever this dosa mula chitta arises, it is always accompanied by this painful mental feeling. Both of them are domanasa sahagatam, always accompanied by painful mental feeling. And also associated with patiga. Patiga is dosa, that is associated with evil, you would say, associated with evil. That is spontaneous one, and the next one is sasankharika, the prompted one. So we can read the two names below. Please read. Domanasa sahagatam patiga sambayutam asankharikam ekam. Domanasa sahagatam patiga sambayutam sasankharikam ekam. So what would be the meaning? You can get a little down below, you get the meaning there. One consciousness, that's ekam. The asankharikam means unprompted and accompanied by displeasure, domanasa sahagatam, and connected with evil, evil, patiga samyuta. And when you go to the next one, it is the prompted one. So, now, you know the meaning. Now, you also know when this chitta arises in you. So when you feel angry, you know dosa mula chitta is there. So when you are angry, are you happy? Are you joyful during that time? So you are having actually painful mental feeling. That you have displeasure, we say. So whenever you have the dosa mula chitta, you will have that displeasure, that painful mental feeling, and it walks in the reverse way. Whenever you have displeasure or painful mental feeling, you know you are having dosa mula chitas. So it works both ways. So how frequent this dosa mula chitas arise in you? How frequently do they arise in you? Well, just like say in the morning, you get up, wash yourself, and you look in the glass, and you see the most beautiful lady and the most handsome gentleman in your mirror. But when you look at yourself, you say, oh, I appear haggard. Oh, this pimple is getting worse. Oh, no, I am having some bad things, something like that. So you are not pleased with your appearance. So at that time, what chitta will arise in you? No lopa mula chitta. At that time you get dosa mula chitta at that time. Now you want to comb your hair, but you cannot find your comb. Oh, who has taken my comb? I cannot find. So at that time, again, you are having agitation. You are not pleased, so you are having dosa mula chitta again. You try to comb your hair, it does not get into position. Oh, you have to comb it again, so you are not pleased. So at that time, again, dosa mula chitta. You want to put on the lipstick, and you cannot find the lipstick. Again, dosa mula chitta. If you put the lipstick, it becomes very thick. Oh, it looks so well. So you don't like. So you get dosa mula chitta again. Then you want to change your dress, but you cannot find the dress that you like to put on. So again, if you have to search for it, you are not pleased. So you are having dosa mula chitta all the time during this time. Now you find the costume that you want to wear, but it's not iron. Oh, you get upset. Again, dosa mula chitta. So you try to take another costume, and then you stand in the mirror. What people would say to me? Would I appear good to them, or would they criticize me? So if you worry, so again you are having the dosa mula chitta. So you have to go shopping. Oh no, I have to go shopping. There's not much time. I have to rush. But when you rush, you have the traffic jam there. So you're scolding everybody there. Why you're not moving? So I have to go. So you're having the dosa mula chitta all the time. So some of you come a little late. We have quite a good jam today because they have the market here. So as the car doesn't move, oh no, you feel agitated. I will be late. So at that time you are having the dosa mula chitta again. Though you may be living in the United States or in Japan, just like in the United States. I have my friends there. So usually they stay about 40 or 50 miles from the place where they work. So they have to rely on driving their car. So they have to leave a little early. So if the weather is a little foggy, then the traffic will move a little slower. So you get the jam there. So they feel very frustrated. Oh, I shall be late for my walk. Oh, if I am late every day, yesterday I was late, today I was late again, they may find me out. So, you worry. So, you have this dosa mula chitta. I have one of my friends working in Japan, and he has a good job there as a manager in the company that produced the medical equipment. Very good job there. So after working in Tokyo for a few years, he came back to Yangon. So I saw him walking around. So I said, well, did you come back for a short while? When would you go to Tokyo? No, sir, I won't go to Tokyo anymore. Why? You have such a good job. You earn so much money. I have enough, he said. Why? I said, oh, so though they say the working hours from 8 to 5, we have to be there about 7. If you come only at 8, they say, oh, you are not very attentive to your work. You are not very, energetic, so they won't like you. So you have to come a little earlier. So even at the 5, when the 5 is supposed to be the end of the duty today, but the people here, even the clerks, the salesperson, they don't leave until at 6 p.m. So as manager, we have to stay a little late, he said. Usually we have to do overtime. So usually we have to walk up to 10 or 11 p.m. So from that time, when you went back to your place, so almost midnight when you got there, you're very, very tired. You throw yourself on the bed, so you fell asleep. But at 5 a.m., ring your alarm will ring up again. So you have to so you have to rush, you say. So you don't have even time to drink coffee or to take the apple. So you take the apple while you are walking, you are eating it on the road, you say. So again, while you are walking in the office, there are very great pressure from above. Now you have to do this, you have to do this, all this pressure. So you know you have the stress and strain. No? You are familiar with the stress and strain. So that will give you dosa mula chitta all the time. So these dosa mula chittas are burning. It burns. No, it burns your mind. It burns the material base where they arise. They burn the material base. So if you have very strong dosa mula chitta, so you may die. No, you may die. So when you get angry, somebody bully you, you can feel the heart is beating very fast. No, it's sending blood. So the tips of your ears or the tips of your nose becomes reddish. So if a person appears like that, becomes reddish now, and his face becomes very very terrible at that time, no longer handsome. So you better get away. You become very dangerous now. So when you get that blood, so you have the blood beat because the blood has to send this blood to all your the hands and legs so that it prepares you for the fight. And 40% of the blood has to rush to the brain. The brain needs the large amount of blood there. So the arteries are very little there. So if the heart is pumping very strongly, especially with strong pressure, then you break that artery. So you get a stroke. So you can die. You can die. You can die because of this dosa mula chitta. So that friend of mine, he said, now teacher, since I worked there for several years, I got that, the stress and strain, and because of that, you're having the overproduction of the gastric juice. So now I have stomach ulcer, he said. Not only I alone who has a stomach ulcer, all my Japanese friends, comrades, they all have the stomach ulcers. So it's not for me, he said. They don't go. Well, if you know that, the dosa mula chitta, they also arise very often in us, very, very often. So now let's go to the next two. So on page 26, we have the two moha mula chittas. So these two chittas, they have just moha as their root. That moha we already come across yesterday. We say ignorance of the realities is moha, or is delusion. This moha. So there are two chittas, both are given the negative sign. So if you see the negative sign, you just read it, upekha sahagatam. Both of them are upekha sahagatam. One is vichitsam. Vichitsam means vichikecha sambayutam. Vichikecha sambayutam ekam. Now vichikecha, you look at the meaning below, it is also a mental factor. This vichikecha is a cetasika. So all these are cetasika, lopa, dosa, moha, ditthi, and now we have vichikecha. All of them are cetasika. Now, what is the vichikecha? Vichikecha, we say, is skeptical doubt about the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, and the Trinity. So if you are having doubt about the Buddha, is he really, the wisest? Does he really possess that omniscience that understands everything? Would he understand what we know today about the modern science? So if you have such doubt about the Buddha, you are having this chitta. You are having upekha sahagatam, vichikecha sambayutam chitta. Since you do not know what is karma and its result, so you might have the doubt about that. Oh, no, does that karma will bear result in this life? Or if you have some doubt like that, again you are having this chaita. Now number 2 is upekha sahagatam uddacha. Now uddacha sambayutam. That uddacha is again another chitta. So we give it to be restlessness that make the mind restless. No? So if you cannot concentrate your mind, so if your mind is wavering, becoming restless, we say, though you are listening to me, no, you may not hear what I say. No, you hear me only when you pay attention to my words. But if you are thinking about your wife, about your children, about your job, what you have to do tomorrow, so if you think about that, then you would not know what I say. So instead of kusala chitta, now when you are paying attention to me, you are listening to the Dhamma, you are knowing about the Dhamma, so during that time we say you have, now when you are paying attention to me, you are listening to the Dhamma, you are knowing about the Dhamma, so during that time we say you have kusala. Now kusala is beautiful chitta. But if you do not pay attention to that, you miss what I say because of this restlessness. So you said you have this chitta, upekha sahagatam uddacha sambayutam, sambayuta chitta. So the meaning is below. The number 1 is one consciousness accompanied by indifference, that upekha sahagatam, and connected with skeptical doubt, vicikiccha, sambayutam. The next one is connected with uddacha, there is the restlessness. Now, so these two, your mind can be restless many times in a minute. So during that time you will be having this uddacha, sambayuta chitta. So when you have doubt about the triple gem, or about the teaching of the Dhamma, or about the practical practice, not the noble practice or something like that, then you will be having the vicikiccha, sambayuta chitta. Now we have to talk about the 12 akusala chitta. Now, every day when you are awake, you are confronted with all the senses in front of you. So if these senses are agreeable, desirable, pleasant, and you like to have it, to enjoy it, so during that time you'll be having lopa mula chitta. So if you do not like what you say, then you will have who like to have it, to enjoy it, so during that time you'll be having lopa mula chitta. So if you do not like what you say, then you will have the dosa mula chitta. So when there are times you are not interested in these senses, they do not appeal to you, so you don't have lopa mula chitta. But you feel indifferent during that time, so no dosa mula chitta. But during that time you will have the moha mula chitta. So these 3 types of chitta will arise most often in you, most of the time, unless you can pay attention to meritorious deeds. Unless you pay attention to meritorious deeds, you become conscious of the meritorious deed, like say if you reflect on the virtues of the Buddha, the Dhamma or the Sangha, so during that time you will have the kusala chitta. But if you don't have such time, we say you are heedless, you are forgetful of the meritorious deeds. So during that time, only the akusala chitta will arise in you. So we should, we can understand that. Now let's go to the next topic on page 28. So we have ahetuka chitta, the rootless consciousness. So we are actually going to the next group in this chart. We finished the 12 akusala chaita. Now we go on to the 18 ahetuka chaita. Now hetu means the mula. There's the same thing as mula. So it means the cause or the root condition. So we had akusala hetu means unwholesome roots. They refer to lopa, dosa, moha. So we have already come across, whenever we have lopa, dosa, moha, we will have akusala chaitas arising in us. Now the next roots are called kusala hetu, that are the wholesome roots. So they are the alopa, dosa, moha. I also explained the meaning to you. And about our yesterday presentation, the gist of that, I think Leslie Go is going to type and put to start and distribute the class, I think, no? So I think that would be nice. So, alopa is non-greedy, non-craving, or we say generosity. When you are generous, you can give away things. At that time you say you are having alopa, no? So dosa is the opposite of dosa, that is non-hatred, that is hatelessness. So you can tolerate, so you can say tolerance or forbearance, or it also stands for loving kindness. So when you are having loving kindness to all sentient beings, so you will be having the dosa at that time. So moha is the opposite of moha. Moha is ignorance of the realities. So the moha would be the penetrative, the knowledge of the realities, or you can call it the insight knowledge, or the wisdom, the wisdom. So they are the wholesome roots. Now, whenever you have alopa, dosa, or moha, you will have the kusala chitta, the beautiful chitta. Now, the 18 chaitas we are going to describe now, they don't have any of these 6 roots. Altogether there are 6 roots, right? 3 unwholesome roots, 3 wholesome roots. Altogether there are 6 roots. Now this chaita, they don't have any of these roots. So they are called ahetuka chaitas. Now they are again classified into 3 groups. So you can look below. One is akusala vipaka chaitas. Akusala is unwholesome. Vipaka means resultant. Resultant chaitas that arise as the inevitable results of akusala chaitas. Well, instead of akusala chaita there, if I put it akusala karma, that would be better, I think. So in the past existences, we have developed in us both kusala chaitas and akusala chaitas. Now, when the akusala chaitas, they arise and dissolve, they leave behind akusala karma, their potential energy behind, because the karma, akusala karma. So when you have the beautiful chaita, kusala chaita, then they will leave behind kusala karma. Now this karma, they will produce their result. So these are the resultant chitta, we say. Resultant means the result of those vipaka. The karma bear result. So vipaka means resultant, resultant of the karma. Because of the akusala karmas we have performed in previous existences, now we have these unwholesome resultant chaitas in the present existence. And the next one is number 2. Ahetuka means rootless, and kusala means wholesome. Vipaka again resultant chaitas. So these arise on account of kusala karma that we perform in previous existences. Number 3 is ahetuka, that is rootless. Kariya means functional consciousness. So you look at the note there, vipaka means karma result, no karma result. And kriya is functional. So on page 29, Vipaka Citta and Kriya Cittas are karmically neutral cittas that are karmically ineffective. That is, they produce no karmic result. So these two kinds, no, the Vipaka Citta, since they are the resultant of the past karma, no, they arise on because of as the result of the past karma, and they would not produce any karmic action anymore. So they have no karmic property. The same thing with this Kriya Citta, we say is functional. They just arise to perform their function, not to do their function, which is necessary. And actually in cognizing the senses, these Kriya Cittas, they have to participate. Because they are required, they arise. They do their function, then they dissolve, leaving no karmic property. No? So Kriya Citta and Vipaka Citta, they don't have any karmic properties. On the other hand, Akusala Citta and Kusala Citta will have karmic properties. Now, we can look at the symbol on page 29. So, if you look at the 7 symbols there, 6 are negative sign, so you will call them Upikha Sahagatam. And only the 5th one, we shall call it the Dukkha, this one. So if you look at here, you have the 6, the negative sign, and this one is, we call it the Dukkha Sahagatam. And this Dukkha is bodily painful feeling. This Domanassa is mental painful feeling. So this is bodily painful feeling, we say. So like when you have the mosquito bite, you are aware of it with the pain there. So there is dukkha, dukkha sahagatam. So only this one. So we can see the names below. Number 1, upikha sahagatam, chakku vinyanam. So can you read it? Chakku, chakku vinyanam. So chakku means the eye, and vijnana means consciousness. Vijnanam or vijnana means consciousness. So it is the eye consciousness accompanied by indifference. Upikha sagatam, accompanied by indifference. So the next one would be upikha sahagatam, sota vijnanam. Sota means the ear. So sota vijnanam means ear consciousness. Number 3 is gana vijnanam. Gana means the nose. So the nose consciousness. Number 4, jiva. Jiva means the tongue. So jiva vijnanam means the tongue consciousness. And number 5, so you call it dukkha sahagatam. Instead of upikha, you have dukkha sahagatam. Kaya vijnanam. So kaya means body. So body consciousness accompanied by painful feeling. Number 6, again you become upikha sahagatam, sampatichana chittam. So you call it sampatichana, sampatik, T-I-C, tik, chana, chittam. It is receptive consciousness, receptive consciousness. And number 7, santirana citta. Santirana means investigating consciousness. So these are the 7 names. Now we can understand the first 5. So we say eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. So in Pali, now how do you call these 5 organs? Chakku, sota, gana, jiva, kaya. So you just add vijnana, chakku vijnana, sota vijnana, gana vijnana, jiva vijnana, kaya vijnana. So these are the 5 consciousness that are aware of the 5 senses. So eye consciousness will be aware of the visible object. The ear consciousness will be aware of the sound. So the Ghana Vijnana will be aware of the smell. Sjba Vijnana will be aware of the taste. And Kaya Vijnana will be aware of the touch. So these are 5 consciousness that are aware of the 5 senses. Now what is number 6 and 7? You say Sampatichana Chitta, receptive consciousness. And Santirana is the investigating consciousness. Now, according to Abidhamma, we explain the arising of these chittas like this. Now, when you are looking at me now, you see me. You see me because my reflected appearance, that is in the form of reflected light, so that appearance strikes your eye, we say. So the Buddha said, the visible object is the striking element, the striking element, and your eye is the receiving element. So because of the striking element, striking the receiving element here, because of the striking or the contact there, you have the eye consciousness as the resultant of the collision there. So it is like striking image. When you strike image, the matchstick is the striking element, and your matchbox here, it is the receiving element. Now you strike the match, you get share, the flame. Now where does the flame comes from? Does it come from the matchstick? No. Does it exist in the matchbox? No. So how would you explain the arising of the matchstick? So we say because of the contact between the striking element and the receiving element, you get the flame as the arising element. So the same thing the Buddha said. When a sense object strikes the sense door, so the eye is called the sense door. So when they strike there, the eye consciousness arises at the point of contact. So this eye consciousness actually arises in the eye. Now the same thing, now my voice, the sound, is striking your ear. So you have ear consciousness in the ear, and the nose consciousness in the nose. The tongue consciousness, when like the chicken taste, get contact with the tongue there, you get the taste, you know the taste. So when you know the taste, you are having the tongue consciousness arising there. So you know if you have a burn in the hand, so you know the burn together with the painful feeling. Dukkha sahagatam kaya vinyanam. So now these chaitas, they arise just momentarily. Only when the sense object strikes the eye, you get that eye consciousness, that aware of me. Just one consciousness will arise. Now this one consciousness, its lifespan is very, very short. So we say, even in one wing or one snap of the hand, 1,000 billion chaitas can arise. So one chaita will last how much? 1,000 billionth part of the snap of the hand. Very, very short. That eye consciousness arises and dissolves. So the eye consciousness is aware of the sense object, but it dissolves. So we don't know that sense object yet. So the process must go on in order to know the sense object. So the Buddha said, eye consciousness arises just for a moment. It arises and it dissolves. But before it dissolves, it transmits the sense object that it takes, that it knows, to the next arising chaita. And the next arising chaita is Sampatichana chaita, the number 6. So Sampatichana chaita, its function is to receive that visible object that is seen by the eye consciousness, so just to retain it, just for a moment, so just to retain it, so it is not lost. But it dissolves again, this chaita. So before we dissolve, again it transfer this icon, the eye image, to the next arising chaita. That would be number 7. That is Santirana chaita. So Santirana chaita will make the investigation. It will investigate whether the sense object is good or bad. So it will investigate. And then, as it arises, it does its function, and it dissolves again. So this chaita, they arise and dissolve, arise and dissolve. So when it dissolves, again it transmits the sense object together with that information, whether it is good or bad, to the next arising chaita again. So the next arising chaita is actually this one. We shall come to it. We call it Mano Dwara Vachana. That chaita makes the decision. Oh, this is beautiful. So this chaita makes the decision. Or if it's not good, they say, oh, it is bad. So it makes the decision. That Mano Dwara Vachana. Only then, after the making the decision, if it is very beautiful, then you will get Lopa Mula Chaita arising. Only after that. Though we say, as soon as you see a beautiful girl, oh, she's so beautiful, I love her. So it's not as quick as that. It takes so many moments during that time. During that time. So this process must go on. So Manodwara Vachana must decide, oh, it's very beautiful. Only then you get the Lopa Mula Chaita, the Buddha said. Only then we enjoy the senses. Only when you have the Lopa Mula Chaita, you know the sense object and you enjoy it. So if the decision is, oh, this sense object is hateful, I don't like it, this is my enemy, then you will have Dosa Mula Chaita. If you have no interest, no appealing, then you neglect it. So during that time, you will have Moha Mula Chaita. So in that case, you are aware now. The Sampadechana and Santirana, they are necessary to cognize the sense object. In order to be aware of the sense object, they have to participate. So the same thing with the sound object. Now you are hearing my voice. My sound is the striking element, and your eardrum is the receiving element. So when they strike there, you get the ear consciousness. It awares of that sound for just one moment, and it dissolves. Again, it has to transfer that sound object to the Sampadechana that receives it, and then Santirana would take it over to investigate it, and then the Manodwara Vachana must make the decision. Only then when you say, oh, it is very pleasant, then you have Lopa Mula Chaita. Oh, if the decision, oh, it is scolding me, so it is blaming me, then you don't like it, so you get Dosa Mula Chaita. So this Sampadechana, Santirana, they are necessary in cognizing the various sense objects. So since these 7 chaitas are akusala, vipaka, the resultant of unwholesome karma, so they would arise when you come across unpleasant sense objects. So according to the Abidhamma, you come across with unpleasant sense objects because of your bad karma. Because of your bad karma in the past. So if you have very good karma, and if you are born as a princess, then you will not be in contact with the bad sense object very often. Now, because you don't have such a good karma, you have to see these bad things. Like when the poor people, they have to come across the bad sense object very often because of their bad karma. So if you know that, whenever you come across with unpleasant things, don't blame any other person. It is your own making. So it is a result of your bad karma, because you have done something bad, so you have to come across such bad things. So these akusala vipaka chaita, they arise in order to cognize the unpleasant things that you come across. So if you know these 7, now the next group would be the same. It's becoming easy. So we can go to page 30. So at the bottom there, you have that title, Ahituka, that is rootless, Kusala is wholesome, Vipaka resultant, Chaita. Now if you look at the symbol, they are similar. Now it's better you can see the comparison here. This big chart give you the good comparison. So these 7 symbols and the 8 symbols here, they are identical except the 5th one here. Instead of dukkha here, you are having sukha. Sukha is pleasant bodily feeling. So painful bodily feeling and pleasant bodily feeling. So when you are in the air condition, you are having the good feeling. Or when you wear some very soft dress, you get very pleasant contact there. And if your bed is very cozy, then you get the pleasant contact. So during that time you have sukha sahagatam. Sukha sahagatam, kaya vinyana citta will arise during that time. Now we have one more here. Instead of the upekha sahagatam santirana citta, the santirana, the same thing here. But you have one more here. The one more is somanasa sahagatam santirana cittam. So can we read the name from this chart without looking at the book here? Well, you can do it. Okay, let's read here. Upekha sahagatam chakku vinyanam sota vinyanam gana vinyanam jiva vinyanam, and this is dukkha sukha. Sukha sahagatam kaya vinyanam upekha sahagatam sampatichana cittam. Upekha sahagatam santirana cittam, and somanasa sahagatam santirana cittam. So the arising of the citta, they walk in the same way. Now this time these cittas are aware of the pleasant sense objects. You come across these pleasant sense objects because of your good karma, your good past karma. So during that time you have kusala vipaka, wholesome resultant citta arising in you. So the same thing, we say, when you are watching a movie that you enjoy very much, now when you are watching there, what citta will arise in you? What citta will arise in you? So while you are seeing the actors and the actress, you will be having eye consciousness arising there. Now what eye consciousness? You have 2 eye consciousness here. One is akusala vipaka chakku vinyana, and the other one is kusala vipaka chakku vinyana. So when you are watching the movie, which citta will arise? Now what do you say about the movie? The actors, the beautiful actors and the actress, you appreciate them. So when you say this sense of this is good, pleasant, agreeable, so you can enjoy this because of the good karma. Good karma. So during that time, what citta will arise? The kusala vipaka chakku vinyana will arise. Alright? Now when you come across, say, a rotten corpse, so a rotten corpse would not be pleasant. So you come across this because of your bad karma. So we say at that time you will be having akusala vipaka chakku vinyana, eye consciousness. Right? Now when you're smelling the perfume, so what citta will arise at that time? So again, kusala vipaka sota vinyana will arise. Now you get into the latrine, so it is not flush, with the sea there, very bad smelling. So at that time, what citta arise? So it would be akusala vipaka sota vinyana will arise, ghana vinyana will arise. So when you have tasted rotten fish, very bad taste, so again at that time, akusala vipaka jiva vijnana. So while you are enjoying the fried chicken, Kentucky chicken, very tasty, so at that time patapita chita. So kusala vipaka, no, kusala vipaka jiva vijnana. So they walk in this way. Now, whenever you have the kusala vipaka, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, then the kusala vipaka sampadechana chitta will receive that sense object. Santirana, again the kusala vipaka, santirana chitta will investigate whether it's good or bad. Now here we have two santirana here. So we say, when the sense object is just fairly good, then you investigate it with upikha sahagatam santirana chitta. When the sense object is very, very good, exceptionally good, even while investigating you are having joy, so at that time, somanasa sahagatam santirana chitta will investigate the sense object. So because of that we have two santirana chittas here. Okay? Now, the first 5 pairs. So you have the 2 chakhu vijnana, no, and 2 sota vijnana. So these are, now there are a pair of chakhu vijnana, eye consciousness, a pair of sota vijnana, ear consciousness, a pair of gana vijnana, nose consciousness, and a pair of jiva vijnana, tongue consciousness, and a pair of kaya vijnana, body consciousness. These 5 pairs together are called Dvipancha Vijnana. So I like you to take note of that name. Dvipancha Vijnana. Dvi means pair. Dvi means pair. Pancha means 5. No, the 5 pairs. So it amounts to 10 chittas. No, these 10 chitta or the 5 pairs, they are known as Dvipancha Vijnana. No, so they are the 5 pairs that are aware of the 5 senses. Okay? And also take note, you have 2 upikha santirana chitta. 2 upikha santirana chitta. And 1 santirana, somanasa santirana. So altogether there are 3 santirana chitta and 2 sampadechana chitta. Now we can go to the next topic. On page 32. We call them ahetuka kariya chittas. Now the 3 ahetuka kariya chittas are given below. So we can go ahead with the name given below the box there. Now number 1. What is number 1? Upikha sahagatam pancha dwara vachana Chaitam. No, pancha. So we will give the meaning below. Pancha dwara. So when you have the A long, we say A long. So it has the sound A. If just A is A, not like the Dhamma. So when you have the long there, we say A. No, dwara. No, dwara vachana chaitam. And the meaning is given below. No, the pancha is a 5. Dwara means the door. 5 door. Vachana means adverting or directing. No, adverting or directing consciousness, accompanied by indifference. Upikha sahagatam, accompanied by indifference. And the next one, upikha sahagatam mano dwara vachana chaitam. Now, mano dwara means the mind door. Now, mano means mind, dwara means door, and avachana, again adverting, consciousness accompanied by indifference. Number 3, somanasa sahagatam hasi tupada chaitam. Now, hasi tupada chaitam. So that hasi tupada is called smile producing consciousness. accompanied by joy. So only they arise only in our hearts. This hasi tupada. No, so when they smile, they have the pleasant mental feeling. So it is somanasa sahagatam. Now the rest, no, the two are vachana. They are upekha sahagatam. So they just direct the sense object, our chitta, the mental stream, we say, towards the sense object. They direct to a sense object. They take note of the sense object. So during that time, they do not know yet whether the sense object is good or bad. So at that time, the feeling is just upekha, because you do not know the sense object. The same thing with this eye consciousness, ear consciousness, all of them are upekha, because we say when you see it, we say it is just seeing. When you hear, it's just hearing. You don't know the real sound or the real object yet, and you have not decided whether it is good or bad. Only after the manodwara vachana decide, we know it is good. Only then you can have the somanasa sahagatam lopa mula chitta. So for these, they are upekha sahagatam. Now these two chitta, the pancha dwara vachana and manodwara vachana, they are quite important. These two are quite important. Now you are aware we have the signal by which the sense objects can get into our body or can get into our mind. There are 6 doors, we say. Now these are the 5 doors: the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body. They are called panchadwara. Panchadwara. So if the sense object appears in one of these doors, it would be the panchadwara vachana, chitta, that confront this sense object, that take notice. We say, you pay attention to this object. So the panchadwara vachana will take notice of that. Then other chittas will follow in order to know the sense object. So it is always the first chitta that confront the sense object. So if the sense object appears in the mind door, like our thought, your thought about your business, about your children, so that will appear in the mind door, we say. So when that thought object appears there, manodwara vachana has to confront it, has to take notice it. Unless the manodwara vachana take notice of that, you will not be aware of the sense object. So this the two avachana, they are the one that pay attention or that take notice of the sense object to be aware of the sense object. Now here is again a very good explanation. Now why am I standing in front of you now? All of your images appear in my eye. So just like taking the photo with the camera, all your pictures are now appearing in my pupil. They appear in my pupil. Can I be aware of all of you at the same time? No, I cannot be aware of all of you at the same time. So in order to be aware of each person, you have to focus your attention on that person only. So you focus on that person, that is the panchadwara vachana will do it. Again, now why I am standing here? All the 6 sense objects can strike the respective doors at the same time. Like the visible object striking now here. And I can hear if some of you talking, so the voice will strike my ear door. And I can have the perfume smell, striking my nose. So if I have a sweet in my tongue, I can also have the taste object striking. And I have the contact with my clothes, and my soles are in contact with the floor, so I have the touch also here. And at the same time, I may be thinking of my beautiful wife at home, what she will be doing at this time, or would she be missing me or not? So the thought object can come in the mind at the same time. So can you be aware of the 6 sense objects at the same time? if you have to be aware of all the six sense objects, what will happen? Remember, when we explain in science, we say, the visible object, distracts your eye, the retina, they say. So when you strike there, of course, the reflected light will bring about a chemical change there, and that stimulates the nerve to report to the brain, and the brain return the message. Oh, this is Dr. Mon. Oh, this is Mother Chin. So he will return the message. That's the explanation of the sign. But if that's so, now if all the six objects strike at the same time, so how would you explain them? They would get mixed up. They would get mixed up. Like when you watching your TV, if the two channels get mixed up, if they appear at the same time, what will happen? You can't see anything, just mix up. So the same thing, these sense objects, if they have to be known as soon as they strike the door, so they can be mixed up because they strike at the same door. So according to Abidhamma, though the sense objects appear in the sixth door, you will not be aware of them unless you pay attention to them. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Yes, it is true. It is true. So if I am thinking of my wife during that time, I will not be aware of any of you. Yes, that's true. So you can be aware only one at a time. And that is done by this Pancha Dwara Vachana and Manodwara Vachana. Now they make the selection. Which one you want to be aware of. So if you want to know the object that appears in your eye, Pancha Dwara Vachana will confront it, will take it, and will direct the other cheaters to follow it, so you'll be aware of the cheater. So if it picks up the object that appears in the ear door, then you will hear the sound. So if you want to know your third object there, then Manodwara Vachana will have to confront it and advert or direct the other cheaters to follow it there in order to know, to cognize the sense object, to know it. So in order to know each sense object, you need these two vachana, to be aware of the sense object. Now we finished the 18 of the ahetuka chetas now. So these chetas, they accept this, the hasitopada. The 17, they are involved to cognize the six sense objects that appear in the sixth door. So they help us to know these various sense objects. So they are essential to us. So they arise in us, right? Now we can go to the next group. Now before we go to the next group, you should know this this word here. This 12 akusala cheta and the 18 ahetuka cheta. Now these 30 chetas are called asobhana. Now you already know sobhana is beautiful. Asobhana would be not beautiful. So these 30 chetas are said to be not beautiful. Now the akusala chetas are not beautiful because they are blameworthy. They accompanied with immoral roots. So they are not pleasant ones, not beautiful ones. You know that. But the ahetuka chetas, they are not immoral. They arise to know the senses. And all these 18 chetas, they arise even in the Buddha. They have to arise in the Buddha. Some of them would also arise in the Brahma to be aware of the senses. So you cannot say they are wicked, or though we say they are not beautiful, they are not blameworthy, they have no fault. So because they are not beautiful, in the sense they are not associated with beautiful roots, so we say they are not beautiful. Now if you say this 30 asobhana, that implies all the remaining chetas would be beautiful. So all the remaining chaitas would be beautiful. So now if you take 30 from 54, 24 will remain. That will be called the Kama Sobana chaitas. So we take this as our next topic on page 33. Page 33 there, you have Kama Sobana chaitas. So we give you the meaning there. Sobana here means beautiful. Chaita is a consciousness. Kama means the sense sphere, that arise in the sense sphere. Now these 24 chaitas are subdivided into 3 classes below. One is Mahakusala chaitas. Now Maha in Pali means great, great. But here you should know this great means greater in number. Greater in number, not greater in power or virtue or something like that. It is just greater in number. So we call it Kama, great moral consciousness. Mahakusala chaitas. There are 8 of them. And number 2, Mahavipaka. Vipaka is resultant, great resultant consciousness. And number 3, Mahakriya chaitas, great functional consciousness. So I also give you the note below. Maha great means greater in number. Mahakusala chaita is also known as Kama Vajra Kusala chaita. As there are 8 Kama Vajra Kusala chaita, 5 Rupa Vajra Kusala chaita, etc. You can look at the table here. So these all these chaitas are Kusala chaita, beautiful chaita. And Kusala is wholesome, wholesome. So in the so these all these chaitas are Kusala chaita, beautiful chaita. And Kusala is wholesome, wholesome. So in the Mahakusala you have 8 Kusala chaita. Now when we come to the Rupa Vajra Kusala, the beautiful chaita, in the Rupa plane you have only 5. And Arupa Vajra, only 4 here. And the Lokuttara Kusala, 4. So among these 4 groups, they are the greatest in number. So it is called Mahakusala. But instead of Mahakusala, we can also call Kama Vajra Kusala chaita. Just like the wholesome chaita in the Rupa plane will be called Rupa Vajra Kusala chaita. Rupa Vajra Kusala chaita, so you can call Kama Vajra Kusala chaita. So Mahakusala or Rupa Vajra Kusala, it means the same thing. Now there are 8 of them. Now this 8, if you compare with the 8 Lopa Mula chaita, they are the same. They are the same. The symbols and the words are also the same. Instead of deity there, you have jnana here. That is the only difference. So we give you the symbols on the next page. On page 34, now we have at the middle Mahakusala chaita. So you look at the box there. So the symbols and the words are the same as the Lopamula chaita. So the names will be the same. The names will be the same. If you know the 8 Lopamula chaitas, now you know this 8 Kusala chaita. You just change deity into jnana. So let's look at the names below. So manasa sahakatam, jnana sambayutam, asankharikam ekam, sa sankharikam ekam. The next page. So manasa sahakatam, jnana vipayotam, asankharikam ekam, sa sankharikam ekam. So for the next page you just change to upekha. Upekha sahakatam, jnana sambayutam, asankhari. So you look at the box there. So the symbols and the words are the same as the Lopamula chaita. So the names will be the same. The names will be the same. If you know the 8 Lopamula chaitas, now you know this 8 Kusala Chitta. You just change Daithi into Jnana. So let's look at the names below. Somanasa Sahagatam, Jnana Sambayutam, Asankharikam Ekam, Sa Sankharikam Ekam. The next page. Somanasa Sahagatam, Jnana Vipayutam, Asankharikam Ekam, Sa Sankharikam Ekam. So for the next page, you just change to Upekha. Upekha Sahagatam, Jnana Sambayutam, Asankharikam Ekam, Sa Sankharikam Ekam. Upekha Sahagatam, Jnana Vipayutam, Asankharikam Ekam, Sa Sankharikam Ekam. So the names are the same. So here, what you should know is, for the meaning, you have to know only the jnana. Jnana Sambayutam means associated with wisdom. Jnana is wisdom, associated with wisdom. Now what do you mean by wisdom here? So as the basic step, we take this wisdom is the knowledge of karma and its result. So if you are aware of karma is the result, then we say your chitta is accompanied by wisdom. So when you perform meritorious deeds, these Mahakusala chitta will arise in you. Whatever meritorious deed that you perform, these Mahakusala chitta will arise in you. So if you perform happily, joyfully, then your Kusala chitta would be Somanasa Sagatam Kusala chitta. So if you just perform it without any joy, so it becomes Upekha Sahagatam Kusala chitta. Upekha Sahagata Kusala chitta. Now if you perform with the knowledge of karma, oh, this is good karma I'm doing, it will bear good result. So if you have that knowledge, then we say your chitta is associated with wisdom. So it becomes Jnana Sambayuta Kusala chitta. Jnana Sambayuta Kusala chitta. So if you perform without knowledge of karma and the result, like the children, they also pay homage to the Buddha, but without the knowledge of karma. So they will have Kusala karma, Kusala chitta, but without knowledge of karma. So what will be the chitta? Jnana Vipayutta Kusala chitta will arise in there. So again, when you perform this meritorious deed, with active volition, with strong chaitana, we see that with active volition, very eagerly, then we say Asankharika Kusala chitta will arise in you. So if you perform it hesitantly, so somebody come to ask for donation, if you can donate, very quickly, very eagerly, then we say Asankharika Mahakusala chitta. But you become stingy, so you become hesitant. It would be nice for me to donate or not. So only after you persuade yourself, you better donate 10 ringgits, so you donate. So it becomes Sasankharika Kusala chitta. So when it bears result, there's a great difference between Asankharika and Sasankharika. So we should perform with Asankharika chitta to get great benefits. And we should also perform meritorious deeds with the knowledge of karma, to get Jnana Sambayuta chitta. So to get the Jnana Sambayuta chitta, it is good, it is better, meritorious deed. You acquire better meritorious deed by doing that. So if you perform it happily, Somanasa Sagatam, if this karma bear result, and you are reborn as a human being, so you will be reborn with the Somanasa Sagatam chitta. So normally you will be jolly, you live happily. So some people, they perform the meritorious deed with Upekha Sahagatam. So when they are reborn as a human being, they have Upekha Sahagatam chitta in them. So they appear to be very serious. No, they won't smile at you. They just so there are some people like that. So no, by the we call it the rebirth consciousness becomes different there. So no, if I ask you the meaning, either you can know the meaning on page 35 there. Now for the first teacher, no, let's look at here. We'll read and we will give the meaning. No, okay. Now the first page, you say so manasa sahagatam. No, that means accompanied with joy. Accompanied with joy. Jnana sambayutam, associated with wisdom. Asankharika chitam asankharikam ekam, or asankharika chitta. That means no, the spontaneous chitta. Sasankharika chitta, that has to be prompted chitta, not spontaneous chitta. The next page, so manasa sagadam, again accompanied with joy, accompanied by joy, and jnana vipyutam, not associated with wisdom, asankharika, spontaneous, and sasankharika, not spontaneous. And for the next four, upikha sahagadam, accompanied by indifference, no, without joy. And somana, the same thing, the jnana sambayutam, associated with wisdom, asankharika, spontaneous, and sasankharika, not spontaneous. So we can know the meaning. So we also know what kind of chitta will arise while we perform meritorious deeds. No? Now, in life, I think the best way, no, of living would be to live with kusala chitta and to have akusala chitta as true as possible. How can you do it? How can you live wisely so that you have less akusala chitta and more kusala chitta? So what can you do? So you can be aware of your chitta. You remember, akusala chitta has unwholesome roots in lopa, dosa, moha. So try to calm down your greed, anger, or delusion. So you try to keep them not to arise in your mind. So you can avoid the akusala chitta. But they are very quick. As soon as you see something, oh, you like it. So you can stop it there. So the Buddha say, try to be mindful of meritorious deeds. So try to be mindful of meritorious deeds. That is his advice. Every day he gives this advice. Apamadena bhikkhave sambadeta. Apamadena bhikkhave, the bhikkhus. Don't be forgetful. Sambadeta, try to accomplish your meritorious deeds. So try to be aware of, the meritorious deeds. If you are thinking about meritorious deeds, you are performing these meritorious deeds, then you will be having kusala chitta all this time. So the best one would be meditation. So you can reflect, for example. You can reflect on your breathing, or you can be aware of your motion, or you can be aware of the Buddha's virtues. So during that time, you'll be having kusala chitta all the time. Now during our Abhidhamma section, now for 2 hours, we have been listening to the Abhidhamma. So while we are paying attention to the Abhidhamma, learning the Abhidhamma, so during this time, what chitta do we have? So it will be kusala chitta. So if you are joyful while listening to the Dhamma, so you will have the somanasa sagatam, and with the knowledge of karma. It is a meritorious deed. This listening to the Dhamma is a very, very good meritorious deed. So you have the knowledge of karma there. Soma jnana samyutam, asankharika. So if you are willing to learn, so you are having asankharika. So if you are thinking about running away, so you will have sasankarika. So you will have sasankarika. So remember, no, even in one snap of the hand or in one wing, 1,000 billion cheetahs can arise and dissolve. So every minute or every second, we are acquiring billions and billions of kusala cheetahs arising. So when they dissolve, they leave behind the karma properties. So during this session, 2 hours, you have accumulated the meritorious deeds. How many? Uncountable. So the benefit would be uncountable. By listening just for one session, you will not be reborn in the world for books for many world cycles. So very, very important. So that is very, very good. So I think the time is up now. We have to stop. So I think let's try to share merit. Let's try to share merit. Since we have made a large amount of the meritorious deed, so it is wise for us to share merit. Okay. Idam punyam asvakhaya vaham. Hotu, may these merits of mind lead us to the extinction of all defilements. Idam me punyam nibbanasa pachayo hotu, may these merits of mind be conducive to my attainment of nibbana. Imam no punya bhagam Sjba satyanam dhima. Imam no punya bhagam Sjba satyanam dhima. Imam no punya bhagam satyanam Sjba satyanam dhima. We share these merits with all sentient beings. May all sentient beings attain the share of these merits and be well and happy always. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.